Welcome to English Edge, where English is made interesting. Today we begin an exciting journey through the life of one of history's most controversial characters, Adolf Hitler. You can either love him or hate him, but his story is filled with dreams, failures, ambition, and power. From being a small boy with big dreams to a tyrant who changed the world forever, this is Adolf Hitler's story like never before. So, get your headphones, let's sit back and enjoy this incredible story that will improve your English and hold you until the end. It all started on 20th of April 1889 in a small town called Braunau in Austria. A little baby was born to a couple named Alois and Clara Hitler. They named him Adolf. No one knew that this little boy would grow up to shake the world as we know it. Adolf wasn't special as a child. He loved playing outside, drawing pictures, and imagining a big future. But life wasn't perfect. His father, Alois, was a very strict man. Alois wanted Adolf to study well and get a government job just like him. But Adolf had different plans. "I want to be an artist," he would tell his mother, Clara. His mother loved him a lot and supported his dream, but she couldn't convince Alois. Adolf's childhood was filled with fights with his father. His father would yell, "Art is not a real job," and Adolf would stay quiet, hiding his tears. When he was 13 years old, his father died suddenly. Some people thought that now Adolf would feel free, but losing his father left a void in his heart. Adolf started skipping school. He had been a good student once, but now he didn't care. The teachers would say, "Adolf is intelligent, but he is lazy. All he wants to do is draw." After finishing his schooling, Adolf packed his bags and moved to Vienna, the capital of Austria. He was so excited. "Vienna is the city of art. Oh, I will become a famous painter here," he thought. He applied to the Academy of Fine Arts, a big art school, but when the results came, his heart broke. He didn't get in. The school told him, "Your work is not good enough." Adolf felt humiliated. "I will try again," he said, but the next year the school rejected him again. This time he was devastated. Without school or a job, Adolf's life became miserable. He lived in dirty, tiny rooms, and sometimes he had to sleep on the street. He painted postcards and sold them to tourists for a little money. "Why is life so unfair?" he often thought. During this time, Adolf's mother died. He was alone and angry. He started blaming other people for his failures. "It's not my fault," he would say. In 1914, everything changed. World War I started, and Adolf saw this as a chance to give his life meaning. He joined the German army. "Finally, I am part of something big," he thought. Adolf was brave in the war. He carried orders across dangerous battlefields and got 2 medals for his courage. But in 1918, Germany lost the war, and Adolf was angry. "Our leaders betrayed us," he shouted. He felt that Germany needed a strong man to put it back into power. After the war, Adolf came back to Germany. The country was in chaos. People were poor and hungry. Many were angry about losing the war. Adolf saw this as his opportunity. He joined a small political group called the German Workers' Party. Adolf was a great speaker. When he opened his mouth, people listened. His words were full of anger, passion, and promises. "Germany is going to rise again," he would say. Slowly, more and more people started to follow him. Adolf changed the name of the group to the National Socialist German Workers' Party, also known as the Nazi Party. He designed their symbol, a red flag with a black swastika. "This is going to be the most powerful symbol in the world," he declared. His speeches became popular. Thousands of people came to hear him. They believed in his dream of a strong Germany, but Adolf's ideas were dangerous. He blamed certain people for Germany's problems and wanted to make Germany only for Germans. After World War I, Germany was in trouble. People had no jobs, food was expensive, and people were hungry. The country had to pay a lot of money to other countries because they lost the war. Germans were angry and sad. Adolf Hitler saw this pain. He told the people, "It's not your fault. I know who's to blame." His words gave people hope, but they also made them angry at others. Slowly, Adolf became a common name. Adolf worked hard to grow his party. He had large rallies and gave loud, emotional speeches. "Germany can be great again," he shouted. People clapped and cheered. They believed in his dream. In 1923, Adolf tried to take the German government by force. This was called the Beer Hall Putsch, but it failed. Adolf was arrested and sat in jail for 9 months. While he was in jail, Adolf wrote a book called Mein Kampf, which means My Struggle. In this book, he wrote about his ideas. He said Germany needed to become powerful and that certain people were the enemy. The book became popular, and many Germans began to believe in his ideas. After getting out of jail, Adolf worked even harder. The Nazi Party became stronger. By 1933, Adolf Hitler was chosen as the Chancellor of Germany, the country's top leader. This is where a new chapter began. Adolf promised jobs, a strong military, and a bright future. The people trusted him, but they didn't know what he was planning next. As Chancellor, Adolf made many changes. He built roads, factories, and schools. More people found jobs, and Germany began to look strong again. The people were happy. They said, "Hitler is a hero." But behind the success, Adolf had dangerous plans. He controlled newspapers, radios, and schools. People were told, "You can only believe in Adolf Hitler." Those who did not agree with him were punished or sent to jail. Adolf created a strong army called the SS and a group of young boys called the Hitler Youth. They trained to fight and to spread Nazi ideas everywhere in Germany. People saw the swastika flag. It became the symbol of Adolf's power. Adolf's speeches became more powerful. He would say, "Germany is the best. We will beat the rest of the world." Crowds cheered and shouted, "Heil Hitler!" In 1939, Adolf made his most daring move. He ordered his army to invade Poland, which started World War II. Adolf's dream was to take control of all of Europe and make Germany the most powerful country in the world. At first, Adolf's army won many battles. They were strong and well-trained, but things began to go wrong as the war continued. Adolf had made too many enemies. While the war was happening, Adolf was doing something terrible. He wanted to remove all Jewish people and others he thought didn't belong in his world. This was called the Holocaust, one of human history's darkest chapters. Millions of innocent people were killed in camps. By 1944, Germany had started to lose the war. Adolf's enemies, like the United States, the Soviet Union, and Britain, were too strong. Bombs fell on German cities, and the people who once called Adolf a hero began to lose faith. Adolf became paranoid, suspicious. He mistrusted everyone. He spent most of his time hiding in his bunker. By 1944, Adolf Hitler's dreams of ruling the world were falling apart. His army, that once seemed unstoppable, was now losing battles everywhere. The Soviet Union, one of his biggest enemies, pushed the German army back from the east. At the same time, American and British soldiers attacked from the west. German cities were bombed day and night. Families lost their homes, and the people began turning against Adolf. Why did we follow him? Many asked. But Adolf didn't give up. He sat inside his bunker, giving orders to his generals. "We will not surrender," he shouted. But deep down, even Adolf knew the war was lost. In early 1945, Adolf sat in a bunker deep underground in Berlin. The bunker was cold and dark, but it was safe from bombs. Inside, Adolf spent his time planning, though there was hardly any hope left. He was not alone. His most loyal followers were with him. One of them was his girlfriend, Eva Braun. Eva had been by his side for many years. Adolf kept their relationship private. She loved him even in his bad times. Outside the bunker, the sound of gunfire grew louder each day. The Soviet army was coming closer to Berlin. "The end is near," whispered his advisors. Leaders from other countries begged Adolf to surrender, to save the country of Germany. They pleaded, but Adolf refused. He thought surrender was weakness. "If Germany loses, it is because the people weren't strong enough to win," he said coldly. By April 1945, Berlin was surrounded. The Soviet army attacked the city from all sides. Buildings were collapsing, fires were burning, people were running for their lives. On April 29, 1945, Adolf made a surprising decision. He married Eva Braun in the bunker. It was a simple ceremony with the few people who had always been by his side. "You've always been by my side, Eva," Adolf said. Eva smiled, even though she knew this was not a happy moment. After the wedding, Adolf and Eva spent hours together, talking about their lives and what they'd done. They both knew the end was near. On April 30, 1945, Adolf made his final decision. He called his closest followers into the bunker and told them, "I will not be captured alive." Adolf thought it was better to die than to let his enemies take him. He and Eva went to a small room. Moments later, they took their own lives. Adolf was 56 years old when the Soviet soldiers reached the bunker. They found Adolf and Eva's bodies. The war in Europe ended shortly after. Germany surrendered on May 8, 1945. The people of Germany were left with nothing but ruins. Adolf's dream of making Germany powerful had led to destruction and sorrow. Millions of lives were lost due to his actions. After Adolf's death, the world worked to rebuild. Germany became a peaceful country. People remembered the horror of the Holocaust and World War II to make sure such things never happened again. Today, Adolf Hitler's name reminds us of the dangers of hatred, unchecked ambition, and misuse of power. Finally, his story teaches us that every choice we make shapes our future. Adolf's choices led to pain and loss, not only for him, but for millions of others. This reminds us that every action, no matter how small, means something. We must choose wisely and always think about the impact of our decisions on other people. Compassion and unity are vital. Hate and division only tear people apart. The world is a far better place when we come together, respect each other, and work toward peace. Life is too short for anger and judgment. By being kind and understanding, we can create a future filled with hope, not regret. So remember, choose love over hate, humility over pride, and unity over division. These simple lessons can make our world a better place. This was the story of Adolf Hitler, a man whose life changed the world forever. It's a story of dreams, power, and the mistakes that led to tragedy. Remember, history is not just about the past. It teaches us how to build a better future. Thank you for listening, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to English Edge for more interesting stories that help you learn English while exploring history. See you back in the next story.